Yo, what is up? Welcome back to a video podcast. I haven't done one of these in a while, and figured we'd do something fun today and just, hit a few key points, talk about the channel real quick, and then get into it. As you can see in the title, we're going to look at the top 10 recommendations for games to play around Halloween. Since it's coming up, we're fixing to turn the calendar over here to September and then October, so these are games that I would recommend you guys check out. And then most of these you will know. These are not like games you've never heard of. A lot of horror games, but then also just some games that have good overall theme and art design that kind of get you in that mood. So that's kind of what my goal is for this list. And it'll be 10 games that I'll recommend that you guys play, or at least consider playing, leading up into Halloween and getting into the fall and getting into the spooky time of the season. Halloween is one of my favorite holidays. It kind of kicks off this little era of my favorite time of year where we got Halloween and then obviously Christmas soon after that. So it always starts off for me for Halloween. I love scary stuff. As you know, on this channel, we cover a lot of these games and just, anything scary, I'm pretty much into it. So I figured for this episode, since we haven't done anything as far as like a topic in a while, we would do something fun. So we're going to do that. And these will be like, I'll have them 10 to 1, but these are not in any kind of like best to worst or worst to best. I'm just going to name them off and briefly talk about what I think makes them fun to play around this time of year. And so we'll do that. But first and foremost, we'll briefly kind of cover about what's going on the channel, what you might have missed, and what's coming up next. So yeah, overall channel update, we've been posting. I've had a couple videos I've put out. We did Playdead's games. We did Limbo and Inside. I did videos on both of those, kind of talking about those games. A lot of people don't really either haven't played them or not familiar with them, but I felt like covering them because I think they're unique and they're interesting. They have good like undertones and story and a kind of a vague but cool story to them, both of them. And yeah, I had recently did videos on those, so if you, for some reason you haven't checked those out, go back and check those out. I noticed that views have been down a little bit over the last month or so because I have been covering more kind of strange games and stuff lately. We did, like I said, we did those two. We did Little Nightmares, which all three of those are kind of like side scroller, like puzzle games, with kind of like dark themes, and that's kind of what attracted me to those games, made me want to cover them. So if you haven't checked any of those out, they'll be down below. Make sure you go check them out. I know a lot of people haven't, whether you're subscribed or not, whether you're getting notifications, I'm not sure. Make sure you hit that bell at the top and stay notified, or follow me on Instagram or Twitter, where I'll constantly update things that are coming out on the channel, and you can watch it, that you can be updated and know about everything there as well. So but yeah, for whatever reason, views been down, so go back and check those out. And also recently in my last video, I covered Outlast, the original. Really cool, fun time looking back at that game. And then probably in the near future we'll be covering Outlast 2, kind of leading up to Outlast Trials that'll be coming out here. Looks like close to Christmas or something. So it's kind of fun to get back into those. I haven't played those in a while, so if you haven't, if you're not familiar with Outlast, or maybe you are familiar with it and you just haven't played it in a while, or you just want to, hear like a deeper dive, I kind of did that, and go back and check out that video. And what to expect going forward from now until October, November is we'll be amping up more of the horror, especially like retrospectives. We'll be looking more at like actual horror games, and I know that in general I've covered a little bit of everything. I like covering all kinds of games, but leading up kind of to get us in the mood for Halloween coming up, I want to get back into covering horror, so that's why I did Outlast, and that's why from here on we'll be doing mostly horror, especially for the next couple months before we get back into like retro stuff. So that's what you can expect next. Like I said, be sure to follow me on Instagram and or Twitter, where I post on there whenever something comes out or whenever I'm doing something. It goes up on there, the story, newsfeed, whatever. And if you follow me on there, you'll be notified. And last but not least, before we get into these games, I want to talk about my McKiLL TV t-shirts that I'll put a pop-up right here where you can see them. I was going to try to get these out by October, but just been messing with the designs and updating everything. I actually had my first 2 shirts come in, and one of them turned out really good, and the other one, needed some work, so I needed to go back and work on these designs. But updated designs, these shirts will be available around the holiday season. I'm thinking around Christmas or so, and really dwindled down my designs to basically the few that you'll see right here. Those will be available in a black t-shirt, white t-shirt, as well as long sleeves. So they'll have a front emblem and then a back logo, as you can see there. And follow me, like I said, on Instagram, Twitter, and I'll let you guys know when those become available and when they'll be up for purchase and stuff like that. Made on really good premium t-shirt material, nice and soft. They do not shrink. The company that's making these, they do really good work, and only reason it's been taking a little time is because I wanted to make it a little bit nicer, as far as like the actual logos and stuff. So just been working on that and expect them around the holiday season. That being said, let's get into these games. All right, guys. Thinking about this list, like I said, it's not in any kind of order necessarily. If I did put it in order, I just kind of did it off of my own personal deal, like how I thought about the game and how special it is to me leading up until like Halloween and stuff. But there is like I said, it's a 10 game list, but there's some honorable mentions. I'll get to those real quick. I think Nightmare Creatures is a great game to play around this time of year. A lot of you guys may not know what Nightmare Creatures is. It's an old game. It's PS1, Nintendo 64, and Dreamcast. Both of these games came out late 90s, 1997 and 2000, I think. But if you have an old console and if you're a retro gamer, something about these games, art design, the kind of gothic, and mostly just for me, it's like the music, the atmosphere that's created. These games are great to play around this time of year, so I had to put them in here as an honorable mention, especially for you retro gamers. Those are great games to play around this time of year. Obviously, they're horror games. And then another game that I think, I see this game get mixed bag, but Visage is one of my favorite, more modern, like scary games. And it doesn't have combat in it. It's kind of, it's not packed full of action. So if that's what you're looking for, Visage isn't going to deliver that. But if you're scared of if paranormal, like spiritual ghost type things, if that kind of thing scares you, Visage does that well. If you enjoyed like PT or games like that, maybe it's referred to maybe as a walking simulator a little bit, but the way that the game plays out and the hauntings and stuff like that is really creepy. If you're looking to get scared in a game, I think this game does it. That's why I put Visage as definitely an honorable mention. The reason I didn't put it in my top 10 is because I didn't originally play Visage around this time of year. I actually played it closer to like New Year's or something when I had first originally played it. So as opposed to these other games, I've either discovered them around this time of year or they're just synonymous to me or personal to me around playing them this time of year. But yeah, Visage and Nightmare Creatures, both great games and completely different ends of the spectrum there, but both have really good atmosphere. And if you're looking to, get your horror on, Visage and Nightmare Creatures do that in two distinctly different ways. So, but I put those in here. And that being said, here's number 10. And like I said, these are not in any order really. But I put The Evil Within, and I put both of them because I like both of these games. I like Evil Within. To me, it's like a mixture of like Silent Hill and Resident Evil. It kind of takes elements from both those games and mixes it into kind of its own thing. It plays similar to like a Resident Evil. It's got some action, but it's also got some really good like horror moments. I personally, I think gameplay wise, I like Evil Within 2 better, but something special about Evil Within 1, and I can't really put my finger on it. It's not even that I like that game more, especially as far as gameplay, but like something about that game, just the time that I get, maybe there's the time of year that I played it originally, it just stuck with me, and I had to put it on this list because I really enjoyed that. So Evil Within 1 or 2, I think both of those are games that, are good to revisit around this time of year. So I had to put them on this list. Number 9 on this list is both of these two. I would say Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2. I think for me it's more like Left 4 Dead 1, the original. It's more about the art design and it's just a fun game. You play this one with your friends or whatever. I haven't played this game in a long time, but when I have played it, I feel like I always played it around this time of year. I really like the art direction of the first game. It's not much different in the second, I don't guess, but the second game takes what the first game does and adds a little bit, more items and stuff to pick up, more specials, special zombies and stuff like that. Originally played these games back on Xbox 360. It's been a while since I played them, but around this time of year is definitely when I start thinking about them. I would like to play Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2. Haven't played those in years, but I put them on this list for those reasons. I mean, you're looking for a good zombie game to play with your friends, or something action-packed but also kind of creepy. Play Left 4 Dead. Play Left 4 Dead 2. Great games. Number 8, moving on. Resident Evil 2 Remake. I think this is, when you think about remakes and games like that, this one's done perfect. It's one of my favorite games, for sure. Why is it a good game to play around this time? I think if you're really into zombies, if you're really into what makes Resident Evil scary, I think Resident Evil 2, especially the remake here, it really does that perfectly. If you're looking for that dark, zombie style like Resident Evil, it does it well. It's good for this time of year. It's a good adventure game as far as like the story and how everything plays out. Had to put it on this list because it's just so good. And I think most of y'all are either familiar with this game or you've played the old one, or so I had to put Resident Evil 2 on here. Definitely a great game leading into like Halloween, just for the aesthetic and everything. Number 7, I put Silent Hill, and I put any Silent Hill just because Silent Hill is a great horror game, good psychological stories in all the games. But for me, I put in like parentheses, I put mostly Silent Hill 4. And the reason being is because when I first originally played Silent Hill 4 several years ago, I had played it around like October, leading into like Halloween. I had finished it just a week before Halloween or something like that. So when I think about this game, I think about this time of year, and that's another reason I put it on this list. But I'm not married to Silent Hill 4 as far as like when I put it on this list. I meant any of the Silent Hills. So 1, 2, 3, 4, Downpour, Homecoming, whichever ones you like. I definitely think that they kind of go along with getting you in the mood for like, being scared. So, all right, number 6. It's a little bit different one. I put Twisted Metal Black on here. And if you're not familiar with Twisted Metal Black, it is one of the more like dark Twisted Metal games. Like as far as like the storytelling and the characters, it's really dark. I mean, to me, I definitely put it in this category. It's not a scary game necessarily, but if you're just looking for like a dark, fun game to play, Twisted Metal brings it with the action, with the fun, and we haven't gotten a whole lot of Twisted Metal installments in recent years. Obviously, this is to me the last really good Twisted Metal game that they made. It came out on PS2, I think 2000, 2002, 2001, something like that. It's one of the early games for the PlayStation 2. But I had to put it on here because, I want to cover this game at some point on my channel and do a video about it and do like a deep dive and talk about it. And, when I think about like, what are good games to play outside of like just the necessary like horror genre, this game pops in there. So I put it on here for that reason. And then, moving up to number 5 right here, I put From Software's Bloodborne. And I put it in there because of the art direction, the monsters, the level design, everything about this game gets me in the mood for Halloween. And it's not necessarily like a scary game, but it has a good, like I said, art direction, and it kind of sets the tone for the entire game, and just for being a fun game to play around this time of year. It's fun. It's fun if you like games like this. If you're into like Dark Souls and stuff like that, it can be frustrating for sure. But for me, I love Bloodborne. It's probably my favorite From Software game by far. I like it way better than Demon Souls and Souls games. The other Souls games. This one sticks out to me a little bit more. So I put it on here for that reason. Moving up to number 4, I put McKiLL. McKiLL was a game that originally came out for PlayStation 1, but 2019 it was remade for PlayStation 4. And if you have PlayStation Plus, it's on there right now. It's a really fun game. It's kind of goofy. It doesn't take itself super seriously, but with the overall art direction of the game, it really does. It feels like a Tim Burton or like just a Halloween, kind of game. I mean, with the overall just art direction, the level design, you go from cornfields to pumpkin patches and spooky woods. It's a fun game. It's a good adventure. It doesn't take itself seriously, and I like playing it around this time of year just because of the way the game is presented. It looks really good, and it's just a fun time. So I had to put that one on here as well. Number 3 on this list is a game I just recently covered, and I'm not talking about just the first one, but Outlast in general. I think if you're trying to get spooked and you want to play a really good scary game, I think you got to look at Outlast 1 and 2 and Whistleblower even. They're just fun games for just being scared. If that's kind of what you're looking for around this time of year, Outlast does it. It really does. And this one sometimes flies under the radar for me because I don't think about it. But after just recently playing it for that last video I did, I really remember just how scary it is. It's fun, it's scary, it's intense, and it really is a great horror experience for like a video game. So I put both of them on here at number 3. Not necessarily like I said, this ain't really in any order, but as far as like being scary games, if that's what you're looking for an intense like horror game to play Outlast. If you haven't played those, you got to go check them out. Number 2 is one of my favorite games, if not maybe my favorite game of all time. And I had to put it on here just because I love it. And when I originally played it, I played it around this time of the year. And I put Manhunt, Rockstar Games Manhunt from 2003. A video that a game that I've covered on this channel and in depth. And just because it's one of my favorite of all time. And just because for me personally, it's synonymous for playing it around this time of year. Like, it gets me in the mood. I think it's mostly just because the creepiness of the game, along with the fact that I played it originally around this time of year, and also like the gangs are always they wear masks, they're kind of dressed up. I was actually one of the smileys for Halloween a couple years ago. So I love this game. Just if you've seen me talk about this one or cover it in my video that I did, you know that I love this one, and I had to put it on this list. And last but not least, all the way up at number 1, and I put it up here at number 1 because it's just a classic. And I put Resident Evil 1 Remake. Just going through the Spencer Mansion and the overall art design, especially on the remake version of that, it's just definitely a game I play around this time of year every year. Anywhere between now and Halloween, I'll probably pop this one in and go through it because I played it 1,000 times, but it really doesn't get old, especially if you're just trying to get into the mood. And this game does it well. I mean, it is the classic to me. It's the OG Resident Evil, and that's why it's all the way up at number 1. So there you go, guys. There's 10 game recommendations to maybe check out around this time of year. Not all horror, but maybe games that will be fun to check out, closing in on Halloween and stuff like that. So I just wanted to throw a couple games out there just to have fun with them, talk about them, and talk about why I think that they're good, games to play from now until Halloween. Kind of get you in the mood. Not saying, obviously, we're not going to go through and play all 10 of them, but if there's one in there you forgot about, or you're like, just go check it out. Pop it in there, and some of these games are older, but we didn't really throw a whole lot of newer stuff in there. But yeah, just wanted to do something different today. And this is a shorter episode. I really didn't go into depth about these. I just kind of wanted to briefly make a list and talk about them real quick, and yeah, just to get them out there. So if you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, hit the like button. Go back and watch my previous videos. Continue to support my channel just by doing that. If you hit the like button, subscribe, it really helps out. Helps the video gain more eyeballs and views across the platform of YouTube. And yeah, I know views have been down on this channel, but subscribers have still been climbing up there. If you're new to the channel, go back and watch some of my old videos. I've covered all kinds of different games. My newer videos, I feel like, especially if as far as editing and stuff, are some of my better work. And going forward, we'll cover more horror games. So over the next couple of weeks and months. So that's what's coming up. And this has been McKiLL TV Video Podcast, episode 4. And we'll do another one of these, in the next month or so. If you're still interested in the ghost videos, we're still planning to film 2 more of those. I got 3 episodes up. Also go back and check those out. It's the only thing differently we really do on this channel besides cover games is we ghost hunt a little bit. It's fun. It's also creepy and catch a lot of weird, cool shit. So my plan is to eventually put 2 more episodes out of that. Don't know when exactly, but you can expect it, especially if you were into that. It's still coming, so just don't really have a timeline on it. Got a lot going on, as I'm sure many people do, outside of just working on YouTube and stuff. So yeah, man, just hang in there with me. Hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in a future video.